I'm really excited for the month of March because I feel like spring is coming, it's getting warmer, and just with the new space that we are moving into for the line, I just feel like there's so much like opportunity that is to come, and I think that the office space will unlock so much. Yeah, I'm definitely investing a lot more in my small business. I'm feeling really motivated by it, and I'm just excited to see kind of how everything unfolds. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are doing my March financial reset. So we are looking back into the month of February and see how we did with our budget that we set at the beginning of the month, and also setting some new goals and new budgets for the upcoming month of March. So if you want to see that, then just keep on watching. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Raisa and I talk all things personal finances. So if you're into that, please make sure you're subscribed down below. Okay, I think I'm going to do this slightly differently this time because I think in the past I would just show you guys screenshots of what my budget is looking like, but I think I'm going to try to actually do a screen recording of my budget tracker so you guys can actually see what I'm looking at when I'm looking down. And I've done this before, so hopefully you guys like this format, and let me know if you have any feedback down below. Okay, let's look back at our budget in February. So we are in my February tab. Okay, if you have this budget tracker, then you're pretty familiar with how this works, but if you don't have it and this is your first time kind of seeing it, I'll just walk you through it really quickly. So at the very bottom, you'll see all the different tabs by month. So this is kind of how you can reference how you're doing with your budget every single month. So we are in the month of February. The other tabs that you need to know are the expense log, which I'll show you right now. So this is how you track what you're spending on. So as you can see, I have hidden some of the rows from January, and everything in here is only Feb. That just makes it easier for me, but it's really up to you if you want to do that. So this is how I track how much money I spend, and this information gets brought into the expense summary on the right hand side here. The other tab that you should know is the expense categories. So categories will differ for every single person. These are just the categories that I have for myself that I track. So things like alcohol and drinks, books, business, car, coffee, Cypher, who's my cat, date night, dining out, gifts, etc., etc. So this will differ depending on the person, and essentially you just take whatever categories you have in here and then you would copy and paste them into the category section on the expense summary here on the right, and you essentially set a budget every single month for each one of these. And then as the month goes along and as you continue to log your expenses, then the actual number also gets populated. So anything in this dark green will be auto-populated based off of the formula, so you don't actually need to calculate anything. And then the other really cool thing about this budget tracker is that it also tells you how much you have remaining for the budget that you set. So anything in green means you're good, you're still under budget, and anything in red means you've gone over budget, and we'll touch on that when we get to this section. The other thing I wanted to talk about are the cash flow. So this just totals everything up. So your total income for the month, your personal bills, expenses, savings. This used to be debt, but I changed mine to business fixed bills. We'll talk about that, as well as investments. And then going down a little bit, this is where you can input your income. And then you've got a section for your savings, like your emergency fund. We have a section for your monthly goals. I haven't filled this out because I write my goals in Notion or my journal, so I haven't been using this section of the budget tracker. But if you like to have everything in one place, then I think this is a great space for you to input your money goals. And the cool thing is you can also check them off. And then going back up, you can see that there is a month at a glance. So if you're more of a visual person and like to see things kind of in a pie chart or in a bar chart, you can also just take a look in here. So just very quickly, high level, you can see that 42% of my money went into expenses this month, and the other 42% went into bills. And we'll talk about what all of that looks like, but this is more of just like a high level look at how I spent my money this month. Going down a little bit is your personal bill payments. So these are bills that are fixed every single month. So you can see some of my categories, like Spotify is a subscription. I pay for a storage unit every single month, my maintenance fee, my Audible subscription, my mortgage, my car payment, anything that comes out of your account every single month. And typically these are also the same amount every month. So it's easier to budget this because you can kind of already know how much is going to come out of your account. And I also put a due date because that allows me to know when the money is going to come out of my account. And then at the bottom, you can also see the totals for your fixed bills. And then going down a little bit, I already talked about this, but as I mentioned, if you have this tracker, then you would know that this section is for your debt. I I don't currently have any debt right now, so instead of debt, I used or repurposed this as a business fixed bill section. If you didn't know, I do have a small business and I like to track how much I'm spending in my business, although it's not money that comes out of my personal account. Anything that I spend on my business is coming out of my business account, but I just like to track to see how much is coming out. And this is now starting to become a really big part of my expenses because there are some changes that are coming to my small business, like we're moving into an office, which again, I can talk a little bit more when we get to this section. And the last section that I want to talk about is investments. Again, you can track investments in here as well. So you can budget and you can put your actual total. And at the very bottom, it'll calculate how much you have invested for that specific month. Quite a high level of what the budget tracker looks like. So we are going to look more deeply into February and talk about everything that I spent, how much I made, how much I invested, saved, etc. And then at the end of the video, we will set up our March tab to ensure that everything, all of our budgets are looking good as well. Okay, let's get into February. Going into the month of February, I had a really big goal of not really spending too much on myself in terms of shopping and treat yourself. And the reasons for that is because I did spend a lot of money on myself last month. I bought myself my dream bag, and that is something that I'm treating as my birthday gift for myself. My birthday is in May, but it was just something that I really wanted, and it really just bolstered my budget in January. And the other reason is because if you're familiar with my channel, you would know that I have a small business that I run on the side, and we just recently signed our lease, which means that we are moving into a new office space. And currently I work out of my 1-bedroom apartment. So I have very little expenses in terms of office space. And now with just wanting to expand the business more, having the office space is definitely helpful, but it's also very expensive. So I now have to think about rent and insurance for my office, which I've never had to think about before. So those two things were kind of like looming in my head, and that's kind of how I navigated February. Low spend month on myself and prioritizing the office. So let's talk about how much I made. I do have a corporate job that pays me around $2,500, so that's what I put in my expected section. And then under the actuals, you can see that I made a total of $5,408.43 from my corporate job. The other income that I have here is YouTube, so I don't put anything in the expected section for YouTube. YouTube is a passion project for me, and it still blows my mind that I get paid anything from YouTube. So I did make just under $200 last month, which is really, really exciting. I think I have the dates here wrong because these are still January, but these should be February dates. I'll fix that later. And now going into my savings, I'm only saving for one thing at the moment, which is my emergency fund. I committed to myself that I want to put down $100 every single paycheck, which I was able to accomplish for this month. So a total of $200 in my savings account. And then let's get into investments really quickly. So similar to my emergency fund, I did have a commitment to myself, and one of my goals this year is to be consistent with my investing. So I'm putting down $300 bi-weekly, so a total of $600 from the month of February into my investing account, which I'm very, very happy about. These things are just on autopilot right now, but I think it's still really important to acknowledge yourself when you do hit these goals. So very thrilled with savings and investments for the month of Feb. And now let's talk about bills and expenses. So my personal bills, these have not changed. As I mentioned, there is one new thing that I added, which is Sportsnet sports channel subscription. If you didn't know this about me, I'm a very big baseball fan, and I'm really excited that it's spring training and the season for MLB baseball is coming back. And with that, I had to get Sportsnet. So that is $22.39. And I feel like, yes, that's a lot and it adds to my subscriptions, but it's something that makes me so happy to just watch a baseball game in my downtime. So yeah, that is one addition that I did add in February, and I don't have any regrets. But otherwise, everything here is exactly what it has been over the last couple months. So nothing really has changed here. You can see I have the typical ones like my maintenance fee, my car payment, my mortgage, and all of my subscriptions in here as well. So the total for my personal bills is $2,677.52. Okay, now let's talk about my small business. As I mentioned, my small business is expanding this month. It's so, so exciting and also scary at the same time. But I do have some pretty hefty bills that I have to pay for now that we are moving into an office space. So let's talk about it. So in the month of February, I did run some Google ads. I paused this because I am still trying to relook at the strategy for my Google ads. So in the month of Feb, I only paid $89.93. I have a Google Workspace, and that's just a separate email account for my small business, and that is $835. I touched on this a little bit last month, but I am continuing to do email and social media marketing. So this is something new for me this year. I started to outsource some tasks to other agencies, and it was something that I was holding on to for so long. But honestly, I think that my social media team is doing such a great job, not just with Instagram, but also with email. So it is a hefty price tag. It's $16.20 with taxes and everything, but I think that it is worth it. And now I'm going to continue on to do another month of email and social media marketing. So yeah, I'm very happy with it, and I think that it is a really good investment. The next category, sponsorships. I didn't do any sponsored posts or sponsored videos at all this month, so I had that at $0. Although I do think that next month we will start to do more sponsored content. We had a fun photo shoot this month. I almost forgot about this. So I also outsourced a photo shoot to the same agency who is doing my social media marketing, and it looked incredible. I just received some of the content yesterday, and I'm very, very thrilled with how it came out. So the total was $916. This is with taxes and everything included. Next expense I have is FreshBooks. This is just my accounting software. I think they charged me more this month. I'm not sure why. I'll have to take a look, but that was $26.43. My phone bill is $73.45. That is the same every single month. I have Adobe Creative Cloud. This allows me to use Premiere Pro, like how I'm editing this video, Photoshop, InDesign, etc. The next one is Klaviyo. This is my email marketing platform. This is $145.36. And then we get kind of into the meaty section, which is my office space. So let's talk about it. I am doing a vlog right now about my office space, so you can keep an eye out for that. But we did sign a lease, and I needed to pay 1 month's rent as well as deposit, which is the same amount as the rent. So the rent I think is $1,100 plus tax, which I had to pay up front. So the total that I had to pay for my office for the month of February for the upcoming month of March is $2,310. This was so much money, and I was like afraid to sign it, but honestly, I think that this is going to unlock so many cool things for my small business. So I don't know, I'm like really excited about it. And yes, it's expensive. Everything is expensive, but I think that it will be so worth it just to continue to invest in myself and grow my business. And then lastly, I just started a new Google Workspace. This is now for my personal email. So I do have like a regular Gmail, but I'm planning on doing my own website and having my own Google account just for YouTube sponsorships and all of that. So I did create one for myself, and that is $963. More to come on what my personal website is going to look like. This is something I'm also really excited about, and I can't wait to share more with you. So total for my business bills is $2,608.54. Okay, let's shift gears into my variable expenses. So variable expenses, think of them as like your groceries, your dining out, your coffee, any sort of like hobbies that you have. These are my categories. I try to really lower my budget for each of these, and I think for the most part I did a good job. I do have a couple reds here which I will talk about, but for the most part I'm very happy with coffee, dining out, and groceries. I did not go over any of those categories this month, which is great. One of the categories I did go over this month was home. So I did budget $1,100 for this, and that is for the blinds that I was talking about in my previous video. We hired a contractor to redo our blinds. You can't see them right now, but they're on this side. And even though I budgeted for the blinds, there were some other home things that I didn't budget for that I bought this month, and we can see in my expense log what they are. We got a new rug from Simon's. We got something from Amazon, which is just dishwasher pods. And then the other big one was something from Eternity Modern. If you're not from Vancouver or you're not familiar with Eternity Modern, they are a furniture company. This is actually what this expense is. So we got I guess a new lounge chair is what I would call it, but I really like it. It fits our space perfectly. So that is what I spent on for home, and we went over by $450.18. The next thing that I'm over is miscellaneous. I checked what this was. This is actually my passport renewal. I totally forgot that I submitted my passport to be renewed for 10 years, and that is $160. So I put that in this category. The other thing I'm really proud of is personal care. I recently took a break from getting my nails done. So right now I actually don't have anything on my nails and I've been really enjoying it. My nails are a lot healthier and I only spent $40 in this category, and I think it's because I got a pedicure, but I typically spend around $120 or I sometimes go over this, so I'm really thrilled that I actually have some money left over in the personal care section. And then the other two categories that I want to talk about is shopping. So as I mentioned, I was really trying to lessen my shopping this month, and I think I did a pretty good job. I did buy one thing at Aritzia, which was a belt, but because I didn't budget for anything for shopping this month, it looks like I'm over this category. And then the last category I want to talk about is snowboarding. I think I told this story time in my last financial reset video, but someone stole my snowboard when I was at Cypress Mountain, and it meant that I needed to get a new snowboard, which I was really annoyed about because I really liked my snowboard. I was just kind of annoyed that I had to rebuy everything. The new snowboard was $352.79, and it's funny because, as I mentioned, it's been very mild here in Vancouver, so we haven't really gone snowboarding a lot, and just annoyed that I had to buy a new snowboard and I'm not even using it. Nothing for travel, nothing for treat yourself, and nothing for transportation. So the total for my expense summary is $2,639. And this is so much better than what it was last month. So I'm very happy with how the month has turned out. Okay, now let's quickly talk about March. So as I mentioned, we are moving into an office space. A lot of my money will actually be going into furnishing that new office space. And again, if you want to follow along my small business journey, I will kind of have a separate series dedicated to that. So stay tuned. I am filming that as we speak. And I feel like my focus for March is really to make sure that I get myself situated into that office space. So I'm not really planning on any trips right now. So let's talk about what my March is looking like in terms of income. So March is exciting because it is a 3 paycheck month. So as you can see here, I listed corporate job 3 times and expecting around $7,500 for the month of March. As mentioned, I always have YouTube here, but I don't really put anything in the expected section. And then in terms of savings, as always, I put down $100 in my emergency fund, so a total of $300. Moving into my investments quickly, I am putting down $300 bi-weekly, so this is $900 in total for the month of March that I want to invest. And then same with my personal bill payments. Nothing here has changed. Everything has stayed the same. I did add Sportsnet as the new one that I had already previously mentioned, but everything is the same in terms of my mortgage, my car payment. And then looking into my business fixed bills, this is a new section for me that I'm still trying to figure out what is working in terms of how I track all of this, but I'm not doing Google Ads this month, I don't think. I might turn it on in the middle of the month, but for now I don't have anything that I'm budgeting for. I have the Google Workspace, FreshBooks, Adobe Creative Cloud, Klaviyo. My email marketing, as I mentioned, I'm going to continue to do that. And I'm also sponsoring one YouTube video this month. So a total of $2,315.45 for my fixed bills for my business. And then lastly, my expenses, nothing has changed other than my personal care. I did lower that down to $100. As I mentioned, I haven't really been doing my nails, so I think I'm going to continue that trend, and we're going to lower the personal care section. And I might book some travel this month. I am going to Calgary for my mom's birthday. She wants to go to Banff, Lake Louise, and Jasper. I'm based in Vancouver, if you're not familiar, and my parents are based in Toronto, so we're all going to meet up in Calgary for her 60th birthday. So I might actually book that, and I want to say it'll be around $300 for a round trip. Other than that, everything else looks good. So $1,155 for my variable expenses. So I think that's everything in terms of what is going on with my budget for the month of March. I'm really excited for the month of March because I feel like spring is coming, it's getting warmer, and just with the new space that we are moving into for the line, I just feel like there's so much like opportunity that is to come, and I think that the office space will unlock so much. Yeah, I'm definitely investing a lot more in my small business. I'm feeling really motivated by it, and I'm just excited to see kind of how everything unfolds. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, you guys.